My name is Steve Woolcock. I'm an Associate Professor in the International Relations Department, and I work on international trade and trade policy and head the International Trade Policy Unit, which is a research unit within the International Relations Department that cooperates with colleagues then in other departments, in the Economics Department, Law Department, Government, etc. This impact case study is of work for the European Parliament in providing objective balance assessments of free trade agreements or trade agreements. Now this concerns the free trade agreement between the European Union and Korea. This was the first free trade agreement negotiated by the European Union after the introduction of new powers for the European Parliament following the Lisbon Treaty. With the new powers for the Parliament comes heavier lobbying from a range of different interests. So the car industry, trade unions, agricultural industry, all lobby their MEPs. Lobbying is based on information, and information is used to influence decision makers, and this information is often, at best, a distortion of reality. And so our aim is to provide a balanced, objective assessment. We did this for the Korea Free Trade Agreement, and we've provided in total some 32 studies now for the European Parliament on a range of topics, including also importantly on international investment policy of the EU. You could say, well, why can't the European Parliament provide this sort of service? At the moment, it doesn't really have the research capacity to do so. So we provide a form of service that's similar to the Congressional Research Service in the United States. We were in a position to provide this because of the establishment of the International Trade Policy Unit back in 1999 with the aim of providing a link between academic research and policy analysis. So this has always been the aim of the Trade Policy Unit. We've also specialized in trade, obviously, trade-related topics, and in free trade agreements. So we were in a position then to bid for the framework contract that was put out by the European Parliament at the beginning of the previous Parliament. The way the framework contract works is that the European Parliament comes to us with a request for an analysis of a particular piece of legislation or particular trade agreement that's about to come to the Inter-Committee, that's the International Trade Committee of the European Parliament. The International Trade Policy Unit was set up in 1999, largely the initiative of myself and one or two other colleagues who felt that at that time trade policy analysis was in decline. There wasn't a great deal of attention on trade policy analysis in terms of the impact on policy-related work. There were a lot of academic papers, but these weren't really related to policy work. And there's also, in terms of expertise in the field, in the private sector, but also in the government sector, there was a reduction in the number of people employed who really understood international trade policy. So the aim was to fill this gap. It was built up through a series of smaller contracts that were often with policymakers. So the contracts came from the public sector, either from UK government, other governments, or from the European Union. And I think this also helped to ensure that the research we were doing was policy related. And I think that helped keep us on track.